Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the AstroEnergy show for what is today, December 22nd already. So hi and welcome. I'm happy that you're here. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and you can get me at astrologerangel.com. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So how are your holidays going? Are you all shopped out? Have you gotten everything? I am still buying things. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck to get my dad. That's not easy. He is retired. He has limited interests, although one of them, fortunately, is art. So I think I'm going to get him something related to that. And I'm not going to say because he could listen. You never know. He said he has listened to the show in the past, which honestly kind of surprises me because neither of my parents are really into astrology, but my dad does support me a lot, and I appreciate that. Even at this late stage of the game, he's also very supportive. So anyway, let's see. So Orlando, Florida right now, we have about 78 degrees. I don't know, I'm baking. And guess what happened this morning at the wee hours? It is winter. But I only have to go by theory because it's 75 here. And it's going on the way up to 83 degrees in Orlando, Florida today. So I do remember the times when it snowed and was cold at Christmas, but not this year. So I hope you are having a lovely Christmas time and the weather is very amenable to you. It's actually not that bad because I'm going to go over to Disney probably and do something at the Disney park or, on property on Christmas Day. And that's one of my favorite things to do, another big reason why I moved here. So today, let's see what's going on in the sky. So the sun went into Capricorn, which heralds the beginning of winter. And usually Capricorn is a chilly energy, but not in Florida, not today. The other thing is Uranus is just 3 days away. Well, technically 4. It's the 26th at the wee hours. Actually, no, I take it back. Let me see. Let me just look because I pulled up the chart. Friday, December 25th at 11:52 p.m., and that's tropical porphyry. So it is actually Christmas Day, but very, very late Christmas Day. Uranus goes direct. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But for now, we have an Aquarius rising, which is ruled by Uranus. So not surprising that we're going to be talking about the ruler of Aquarius. And we've got Neptune still. I mean, I should just copy and paste this into my show. It is Neptune at 7 degrees Pisces because Neptune's going to be in Pisces probably till we're all old and in the ground. Anyway, it's 7 degrees, hanging tight, hanging tough. And he is still in square to Saturn, but Saturn is now at 10 degrees Sagittarius. So, yes, they're in the square, but they are not in exact square anymore. So that's a good thing. We have the South Node in Pisces. We have Uranus in Aries, 16 minutes and 33 seconds. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I think I'm a little foggy today. Uranus at 16 degrees, 33 minutes retrograde. There we go. And the moon is at 23 Taurus in a trine to Jupiter at 22 Virgo. And also Mercury at 18 Capricorn. So we have a grand trine going on, not exact, but pretty close enough for me. And that's in Earth. And then we have the North Node at 26 Virgo, Mars at 23 Libra, Venus at 20 Scorpio in direct opposition to the moon. And we have Saturn at 10 Sag and Capricorn Sun at 0 degrees and 25 minutes. So if you're wondering how long it takes the sun to move a degree, it goes basically a degree a day. So we're halfway through the day. It's halfway through, in minutes, it's halfway through. So it'll go, hold on a minute. Oh, why is my brain not working for me today? you would think I didn't get enough sleep, which I did, although I was up a lot throughout the night. So anyway, it goes, through 30 degrees in a month. So it's basically a degree a day. And then the planet Pluto is at 14 Capricorn, right next to Mercury at 18 Capricorn. And they are sextiling Venus and sextiling Neptune. And Venus is also sextiling Jupiter. So it's kind of like half that part of the chart is all in sextile. So that's they're all working in tandem. So we've got Neptune, which is dreams and desires, in positive aspect to Mercury, Capricorn, and Pluto in positive aspect to Venus, in positive aspect to Jupiter. So today is a lovely day for working with other people, for getting your point across, for tangibles, and emotions should be in pretty good position. We have an earthy moon, so the moon is very grounded. He is in conjunct to Mars, so that is going to bring a little bit of warble with finances. So Moon in Taurus is concerned about where the money's coming from. Mars in Libra will give money to anybody who needs it, like the Salvation Army, or Goodwill, or any charity. So yeah, we have fairly amenable Mars, but Venus in Scorpio can be emotional, but she is grounded by the moon to a degree because the moon is very practical about money, and of course Venus rules Taurus, and Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, which is very passionate, but it also rules joint finances. So money will be at the fore today. And of course, we're all spending money on Christmas. So we're all very concerned. And I know I am. I have Venus right there just past my Neptune, and moon is almost on my Jupiter. And Jupiter tends to spend money very easily without concern. So it's going to be a day of spending, but that is right in alignment with everything that's going on. So, okay, let me just see. You know what? I don't have my ephemeris open to see what's coming up, but I do know, of course, on Christmas Day, Uranus is going to be going direct. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up in other planets, but I'm not sure I'm going to have time. And I can tell you, I'll wear glasses. Yay, I've got some glasses so I can read here, looking at the planetary aspects blindly. And I'm not even sure. Oh, those are my new glasses. So I think they're men's glasses because they're really big and they're kind of falling off of my face. It's rather amusing. So Jupiter will be going retrograde in the beginning of January. So that means we're going to close back on some of the forward motion we've had with altruism and connecting to other cultures and organizing things, analyzing things, service, altruism, work. We're going to maybe want to be a little closer to home at the beginning of the year. We're going to go back over some projects that we've been working on for the last 3 months since Jupiter went into the sign of Virgo, and that happened in August. So September, October, November, December, 4 months. And that means that whatever we were expanding and working on, and it could be music. I mean, personally, I'm doing some work with a musician friend of mine. And, that means that we may have to go back over some things we've already done, which isn't really a happy thing for me, but that's the way it goes because the planets do have a strong influence on us. Anyway, Uranus. Let's get to Uranus. So Uranus, and I think I've told you all this before, Uranus, commonly pronounced Uranus, is obviously not the way a lot of people want to pronounce it in the profession anymore, and I'm one of them. And I found it really interesting that there was no powwow over how we pronounce it. We just all seemed to get the message at the same time that we're going to change how we pronounce it because, quite honestly, in the business, I've heard all the jokes you can hear about that. So it is Uranus commonly, but it is Uranus for astrologers and even astronomers now. I've heard astronomers refer to it with a different accent. So for those of you who think I'm pronouncing it wrong, that is the reason. I'm not anymore because I've owned it, and that's the way it is pronounced in my world. So anyway, you can make your jokes in with your friends, but not in this realm. Anyway, I had to address that because it's an obvious thing and it's the elephant in the room. But anyway, and because every time, I have to tell you, every single time I say it, I think about that. But it's the way it is. So, and I'm a Virgo, so, you know, I get very uptight about things like that. So, okay, Uranus is a planet of electricity. It is a higher vibration, a louder vibration of mercurial energy. And so Mercury rules thought and communication, and Uranus rules mass communication, the greater good, humanitarianism. It is the sign of the genius, and that is because it is electrical and brings in the connectedness to the electrical energy. And I'm just looking at the clock briefly. It's 11:11 for those of you who follow that. Make a wish because it's a time of the angels right now. Okay, so Uranus is very unpredictable. It means that wherever we put our energy, it may change from moment to moment, and that is the nature of the Uranian energy because it is electrical, it is quantum, and the energies do not work, and this is higher energy, so higher energy doesn't necessarily work the way lower, well, not even lower energy, like all energy, you know, I suppose is just energy, but in the filter, in the paradigm of Uranus, it is like on steroids. It is extremely intense, is very powerful. It on some level rules power or rules an aspect of power, but it is personal power. It's autonomy. It's taking ownership of your person. And so people with a strong Uranus in their chart, which I am one, it's literally just a few degrees away from my sun in Virgo. So they don't want to be told what to do. And I've been talking with a few different people, my son for one, and another friend's son, both born in around 1998, 1999, 97, when Uranus and Neptune were both in Aquarius. So that energy was super strong, and those people born around that time are here to resonate with this energy coming in our Aquarian age. So Uranus, it is an energy that brings us to a broader understanding of other people, of how people go through different situations, how we can work as a collective to help them. That means that it also rules unions and things that bring people together. So it is the sign of unions. It is the sign of groups and organizations that help the collective. This means it can also be a fabulous energy for social work. It is the Peace Corps. It is anything that helps. So it helps the greater good. Aquarians are not traditional. They are the next sign after Capricorn, which means that they go in the other direction from Capricorn, which is very meticulous, very traditional, very bound by social mores. Aquarius is tattoos. Aquarius is purple hair. Aquarius is gay marriage. All of that is ruled by Uranus. So when Uranus is strong coming around in the chart, we see these kind of shifts. We see these expansions of understanding, expansions of the collective consciousness, and more inventions. We have quicker knowledge and understanding of things. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't looked it up. It would be really interesting to look up when airplanes, what was going on with airplanes when they were invented. My guess is it was a strong Sagittarian energy going on, or Jupiter, but probably also coupled with a strong Uranus. And if anybody in the chat room knows the date that the first airplane was invented, I could look it up while we were doing the show if I have a moment, or during the break. But so why I bring Uranus up is because he goes direct this week, and that means that all of that energy of wanting to call the shots for himself, the autonomous energy, the entrepreneurial energy, was kind of put on hold for the last 4 or 5 months as he was retrograde. And now he's going direct, which means whatever was holding us up energetically with moving forward in our own businesses is now free. And very specifically entrepreneurship right now, because Aries, the sign Uranus is in, excuse me. And that's another thing, I wouldn't be surprised to hear from people listening if Aquarians tend to stutter more. I know Gemini and Virgo can stutter and stumble over words because their minds are working faster than their mouths can keep up. I speak from experience. So Uranus and Aries. Aries is the sign of the salesman, of the marketer. Uranus, of course, wants to be independent. So great time when he goes direct to market your business and to get back into that. Unfortunately, it doesn't come in time for Christmas, but, I'm pretty sure that most of us have done some marketing who are promoting businesses for Christmas, but it's going to get better at the beginning of the year. It's a new time, new fresh energy, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It wants us to move into that a new way of thinking. Uranus is way of thinking, is again the genius, so it wants the new concepts, and it's quantum, meaning it doesn't follow linear modalities. It's very all over the place because it comes from whatever works. It isn't necessarily the energy that, well, I saw that happened and then that happened. You have to make a quantum leap with Uranus and Aquarius because they understand in ways that linearity doesn't work. And linearity, and this is probably why I get really agitated. Sometimes I've been through it myself. When I was in my 17 to about 28 age range, I was highly logical, highly left brain. I was atheist from 13 to 23 because I was very logical. And then I became Buddhist, which is also a very reasonable religion. I wouldn't say logical per se, but it is based in reason. So there is a sense of logic about it, but I think reason personally is like the next higher vibration to logic. That logic is, I can make connections in the visible material world from one thing to another, but reason is bringing intuition into the mix. And sometimes reason doesn't become logical or isn't logical. And I know I digress briefly, but this is what makes this show interesting to me and want to keep doing it, is that I can freely tell you what goes through my mind because there's so much of it that I need to get it out. So when we're thinking in a reasonable way, we bring in that magical, mystical side of things where we don't know what's going to happen, where anything could happen. That is the scientist, the inventor, and the person who seeks to have answers but doesn't necessarily see the logical path to those answers. And I do believe people like theoretical physicists or scientists who deal in theory are the ones who open up to that possibility of something they haven't noticed before. And that's when the magic of quantum thinking, the magic of Uranus steps in. Because once you step away from having to have it be A plus B equals C, you get whatever can work in a way you haven't recognized or may not have thought of, and you step out of your own way. So when people give me reasoning as to why something couldn't be a certain way because it's logical, my quantum mind just wants to scream because it doesn't have to be logical. Uranus doesn't want us to continually think logically. It wants us to expand our thinking processes and bring in something greater, bring in the next level of understanding, or, the new and the different. And that's where it's working in Aries right now. It's bringing in new ways of marketing, i.e. social media. It's bringing in new ways of thinking about self, new ways of thinking about the collective and taking action on those thoughts. So it's quite interesting. I love Uranus. It's something, it rules my house, home, and family. It is right next to my Pluto in Virgo, which is right next to my Sun. So it's right next to my Mercury, a double whammy of Mercury, Uranus. But It is a fascinating energy. It is Star Wars. I don't think you could have gotten a much better week to open Star Wars than Uranus going direct, because it rules science fiction, and it rules science, and it rules wanting to find an answer that isn't necessarily logical. And it rules astrology, which is really, really awesome. So on that note, I am going to start taking calls. And thank you so much for calling in today. The number is 347-994-3365. And man, I could go on for the rest of the hour talking about this, but you'll just have to tune in another week and hear more. So let's have 707. Hi, 707. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, who is this?
This is Julie.
Hi, Julie. Have you called the show before?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you're August 15th? August 15th? Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
So what can I do for you today?
A really silly question.
Never silly questions.
What kind of diet should I actually maybe progress to? Because I'm trying to mess around with my diet, trying to improve it. So what kind of food should I possibly be eating better than what I am eating?
Okay. That's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever had that question before.
I told you it was going to be a weird one.
No, it's good. Okay, well, what I would look to for you for diet would be the second house, which rules the body. Probably the fourth house, which is home and family and nurturing, and then the house of work and health, because you're looking to be healthy. So what's going on now is natally, actually, you have Pluto at 5 degrees Virgo. You have Venus at 7 degrees Virgo and the North Node in Virgo. And I would start there, but I'm going to jump over to your house of health, which is Saturn in Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn is transiting at 14, and then you have Mercury in Capricorn. So the Earth energy is things of the Earth, obviously. So I'm a vegan, and I'm not a zealot vegan. Zealotry is not something that I don't want to tell, oh, well, you have to be a vegan. What I am is someone who is very conscientious of what works for me, and very much promote whatever you, like if I looked in your chart and saw, yes, you should be eating more meat or this or the paleo diet or whatever, I would say that. It's not out of the realm, okay? For you, you have the Pluto-Venus conjunction, and that's in Earth, and Pluto is also connected to your Neptune in Scorpio down in your home and family, so there's water energy, so it would be fish, and Pluto-Venus in Virgo in a trine to Saturn in Capricorn is things that come out of the Earth. Go ahead.
Root vegetables?
Yeah, I was actually, that's
like
what I was just going to say. Yeah, things that...
I'm sorry. I mean, potatoes, carrots, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, roots and things that are taller as opposed to like bushy. Things that are that grow like, so tomatoes could be good. Something that grows in a vertical fashion, which is a Capricorn, because it's the structure. And the roots go into the ground, which is also the Capricornian. It's like if you think of a tree. So nuts, I know, like I've got pecan trees right out my door here, and they're huge, like 30 feet tall, and they drop pecans all over. So
I love
nuts too. Yeah, they are. Get a nut tree. Grow one. I can tell you.
What about beans? Is beans okay? Because I got this thing going on. I like kidney beans.
Well, you know what? I wish I had my rulership book. I don't have, well, you said kidney beans. That actually would go along with Scorpio because it rules the kidneys. So I would definitely say that could be a good possibility. I know. Yeah. I mean, for people, I want to use you as an example for a second for people who are listening going, what? Where are you coming up with this? This is astrology. When you get a question you don't know about, you can infer rulership by where the planets are and what the houses rule per se. So like what I'm saying, kidney beans, definitely kidney beans could help. Anything that is connected to detoxifying and filtering, I want to suggest to you ginger root. And that's something that just came in. So I think that's more specific for you. inclusion, because it filters the blood. It's good for the blood. It's good for digestion. And actually, I think it's a little good for sinuses, too, because I eat a lot of Asian food with the ginger, the sushi stuff, and it's really good for sinuses. But that's a really good thing to add to your diet.
You must do rice, and you do beans, but you do nuts and rice a lot.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into quinoa, and I haven't done tahini much, but I know tahini's high in protein. And I really am, this coming year, even though I've been vegan for 6 years maybe, I definitely can be a lazy vegan, which means I buy the processed dairy, fake dairy stuff, and I have more processed stuff than I want to. And I've got this amazing garden right outside my door, so I'm going to start to grow more of the things that I like to eat so that I can blend them together and cook more sauces. And I've got a tomato plant. I've got chives, onions, Brussels sprouts, which I did plant late in the season. I'm sorry for those of you who are trying to hear astrology, but this is my show and it's really interesting, exciting, and I'm going to talk about it for a minute, so I apologize. So the vegetables definitely, it's not even not astrology, because all of those things, like if you have a spare area for growing, number one goes right along with the grand trine in Earth, which the moon in Taurus is a great time for planting. And if you're in a climate that doesn't allow planting outside, you can have a window box or terrarium or an herb garden in your kitchen. And, the planets.
I live in an apartment, so I don't know if that would work so well. It's a small apartment. It's like the window.
No. Totally. Get a little terrarium. You can grow basil. You can grow chives. They have little window gardens. You can grow lemon thyme. That's one of my favorites. But, you can grow it right there in a little terrarium in your house. And, even if it's just a little, it connects you to the earth, okay? And right now the earth energy is super strong. So that would be a really good thing to do.
Really quickly here, have you tried they have a new milk out now. It's called cashew milk.
Oh, I haven't tried that one. I do almond. I do almond and coconut and soy sometimes.
Right, and it's a new one they have out now. It's by Silk, and it's called cashew. I actually tried this one. It's really good. Kind of too.
Is it really?
I got to watch the sugars. It's called cashew chocolate milk.
Oh my. Well, I know cashew. Is it? The nut milks I would think are really expensive because, nuts are so expensive right now, like you said. I would think that's probably more.
Well, actually, I got them at Safeway's, and it was like $3.99 for them on sale.
Oh, well, that's really right around the cost it costs here. I think it's between $4 and $5 a half gallon for those type of milks here in Orlando. So
yeah, it's expensive, but it's well worth it. It's kind of like a little treat.
Definitely. Yeah.
But,
well, and I know it must be the earth energy, because I'm like, okay, let's talk about food. They've got a couple different places in Orlando. One's called Aldi, ALDI, which is very super inexpensive, and I believe it's owned by the people at Whole Foods. I think it's a lesser expensive version, or it's no, I take it back. I think it's Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's owns it, and it's even more reasonable than Trader Joe's. And then Trader Joe's is also more reasonable than Whole Foods. But all of the three have a lot of those type of foods. And definitely in the new year, because of the strong Pluto and Capricorn energy going on, and especially for you, it is a time of getting back to earth energy and paying attention to that, connecting in through that. And, people look at me like, I have family members who look at me like I'm crazy with my diet. And I'm thinking, how could this be crazy? We're actually eating the things that we ate for eons. We're only recently eating all these processed foods made out of plastics and oils and things, and chemicals. It's really going back to our roots.
It's true, but
literally.
Actually, I think the biblical diet is anything that isn't pork or something else like that. But they used to eat fish and lamb and all that stuff a long time ago.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
the new deer and stuff like that. All lean meats were a part of the diet type of thing. And I'm
buffalo.
Not getting into religion.
No, buffalo too in America.
Oh God,
bison.
I love buffalo meat, but it's so expensive when you try to get it.
Well, you know what? I'm definitely a person who goes online, and this coming year I'm going to do more. And that's also Uranus going direct in Aries is online shopping. So I think the way our country and maybe even our world is going is shopping online and staying home more. I mean, it's less traffic, less accidents, less use of gas. I mean, the Postal Service will have to do more, but, trying to
I kind of think they would like that, because that would actually increase their income, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what is your opinion as a vegan? Just a quick question for you. What is your opinion about wheat? What is your opinion about that one? Do you
it isn't as much my opinion about wheat isn't based on being a vegan. It's more just based on what I see out there and all the GMOs and the nonsense that they're doing. Uranus is about chemicals, so it's a shift and change. And I think by the time Uranus gets into Taurus and an Earth sign, it's going to be a little different story about what's going on with our food, because Taurus is very much about food. But as far as wheat's concerned, I personally am trying to avoid the glutens, because I noticed, and I had a friend who told me this, who is also a vegan, but my joints hurt when I eat foods that have gluten in them. And it's not that I'm looking to give up gluten, because I never had an issue. I was never allergic per se, but your joints will inflame. Yeah, so I am, and honestly, the carbs in bread and things like that, I don't need that. I don't want that. I mean, I'm at the point in my life where you gain weight if,
just looking
you're
at
eating the wrong things. Yeah. So, it's really hard. I have to admit, I haven't exercised this week, and the cookies and the candies and all that, I'm eating them. But personally, in the coming year, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely giving up. Not giving up. Let me put it another way. I'm not giving anything up. I'm choosing to eat in a way that makes my body feel better. And that's really the key. Right. It's not about, giving stuff up and denying yourself. It's about finding alternatives that are better for you and making a choice in your diet and consciously eating, not just, I'm not rabid telling everyone else to do, but I am very passionate about health, because I'm a Virgo, and everyone has the right to be on their own path, but definitely to eat healthier means you'll live longer. So go ahead.
What is your opinion about the water, very quickly here, because I don't know what to do in regards to, there's by osmosis you can do the reversal so you can get the fluoride out, but other than that, I've heard so much about water.
Yeah. You're opening a can of worms with me, because I just moved into the country and we have well water here, and it has so many minerals and rust and hardness to it, even more so. I mean, I thought I've always had hard water. I never had a water softener. I moved to the country and it is so hard.
No, you're going to have that with the water with the country. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to work on that next year. So, and I can't even take a shower without that smell, and it's a sore spot with me. I take a shower and I'm always angry. I'm like, the landlord needs to do something about this, and he doesn't want to deal with it right now. So it's really frustrating.
I'm trying to figure out what you can do about that.
Okay, well, I can get a filter. I'm trying to convince him to get a filter for the water. But as far as water overall, definitely our bodies like alkaline. We do better with alkaline in our system than acid. And our diets, the American diet is high in acid. It's tomato sauces, it's coffee, it's all the things, it's chocolate. Those all create acid. So you need to balance it. And if you're not alkaline, then you're going to end up getting diseases and cancer, because it feeds on your body when you're more acidic. And there are books out there on alkalinity in the body. And again, I don't want to be preachy. I'm only giving this information to be helpful. And
I appreciate it.
Well, I used to have another show called Pure Energy Works, and the Spiritual Spa. It was associated with a website called Pure Energy Works, so Spiritual Spa. And I used to talk more about things like this on that show. So maybe in the next year I'll start that up again with someone else as a co-host. But yeah, I really like to talk about
treating you in that direction. Maybe God's pointing you in that direction, because there's such a need for it, I guess. I'm being
pointed in multiple directions right now. I'm trying to install the Uranus. So as far as water is concerned, definitely if you can, I have something, I've got it right here, literally an arm's length away. It's a pH balancer, and I bought it. It's really awesome. I got it at Vitamin Shop. and I'm not sponsored, Optimal pH, it's called, and it's by Trace Minerals Research. And it's literally just a little bottle that you can put 2 drops in. I've got here spring water in a little 8-ounce bottle, and I put 2 drops in that, and honestly, it's the weirdest thing. It tastes like milk to me when I do that. I don't know why. Maybe because milk has that calming effect, which is what you drink when your stomach's a little upset sometimes. But yeah, you put that in. Trace Minerals Research is the company, and it's called Optimal pH. And especially like if you've been drinking the next day, I mean, I do so many things. I should just do one whole health show because I do herbology, and I mean, yeah, it's my Virgo. Anyway,
I've heard this before. This thing you're talking about, I've actually seen on the net before. They were selling it and stuff, or advertising for it, and I was like, okay, this looks familiar. When you said that, it like it keyed in with me, but. Right now, I've been just doing filtered water as opposed to, the sink water.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on which city you're in, because even sink water can be healthy for you or good for you. I am a proponent of filtering your water. I need to get a filter for my house, or even if I don't get the whole house filter system, which is like $300, I would get a sink filter. And my parents have that. I'm going to get that this year. I have to have clear, clean water. I realized this. I never knew it before until I moved to the country. Like, this is serious. I need clean water. So definitely have the filtered water if you can. I'd only drink spring water, which I don't know, maybe it's hypocritical because I've never been to the company. It's over near Tampa. I've never been there to see how they actually make it, but it tastes really good to me, and it's clean, and I trust it. The only thing I don't trust is having the plastic bottles go in the heat in transport, because I know that infuses all the plastics into the water. So,
they don't use bottles anymore. It's too risky.
Yeah, and I don't know how to, maybe I'll get the metal bottles next year. But, I'm getting to a point where and this is what Jupiter and Virgo does. It makes you a little bit paranoid about health and hygiene. And, I start thinking, okay, well, if you've got bottles, are they going to be clean? Are they going to have minerals that you don't want, or metals that you don't want going in, or whatever? You could drive yourself crazy with it. So at some point you just have to say, you know what, I'm going towards the health and doing the best I can. And I can't control it all because our environment is very into chemicals. It's into GMOs. There isn't a great groundswell of, no, you've got to get rid of it yet. We're not there yet. We will be by the time Uranus gets to Taurus, I'm pretty sure. But that's still like next decade. Yeah. Because Taurus is about food and the earth, and it's also about chemicals. So there's probably going to be a battle between the two. It's going to be like increase and then fight against it. That's how it works. It's like it rises up as the truth. This is what's going on, and then you have the fight against it. So it's not going to be like, oh, now it's going to be more demand for healthier foods, I believe.
Yeah, and the thing I was going to tell you is that you might want to get what they call a stainless steel water steamer to get water. That's a really long process, but it's like the osmosis process. If I had the money, I'd buy one.
Awesome.
Because it's the purest water you can get.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the last thing I want to say about it is like the Dasani water. My dad buys, I shouldn't say a brand name, but that water. It takes the life out of it to me. That's why I like spring water, because to me
it feel like it's connected to the earth. It is connected to the earth, but I feel like by the time they process everything, it's lost its value.
Well, it definitely has changed the energetic dynamic of it, which I like the energy of spring water. It flows out of the ground, and yes, they have a certain amount of processing, but it just tastes better to me, and I can taste it. When I drink tap water versus Dasani versus this, I could do a blind taste test and tell you. So it's just personal. Yep. I'm just telling people what my personal choices are, and I have the right to do that. So everyone has the right to do that, and I do not preach to others. My son's always like, why don't you have a bite of meat? I'm like, why don't you have a vegetable? I do eat vegetables. Well, I don't eat meat, so don't do it. I don't preach anybody to change to my diet. I really don't. I just give them the benefit of the information I know. And they can go research it themselves and make their own choices.
Yeah. Yeah, choice. It's all about, like this year's about my New Year's resolution about people are about this, and this. Mine is about improving self, but giving people choices and not just saying do this, do this. You know?
Exactly. Well, anyway, I'm sorry I don't have more information specifically about what types of grains or anything, but I bet if I have a rulership book that tells you more specific rulerships, I could probably find out more. But there's only so many specialties in astrology I can do, so that isn't one, but I do have my own personal preferences.
No, and I wasted a lot of people's time there. I know other people would want to talk to you, but I just thought, well, this is, I'm going to ask this question because I'm thinking maybe there's other people out there thinking the same thing. I don't know.
Absolutely. Sure. You know what? It was relevant, and thank you for bringing it up. You know what? I talk a lot about astrology, and I kind of go over a lot of subjects over and over, and it's nice to get something I haven't talked about in a while or, even on this show particularly. So thank you very much.
Oh, no, thank you. And it really gives me insight of where I need to go with this whole diet thing.
Awesome.
Change, not diet. I hate that.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's a choice. It's like, this is how I want to eat. And so I think everybody should stop preaching how other people should eat. They just need to take ownership of their own diets and do the research and see what makes them feel healthier. So there you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. And have a good Christmas, okay?
You too. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Take care. Okay, I'm going to pass. Actually, I'll just play the break music at the end, and we'll just go right on through. So hang on, I'm just screwing up here. Okay, there we go. 559. Hi, who is this?
Hi, this is Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. What can I do for you?
I was hoping to get astrology, a mini reading in terms of love for 2016.
Love for 2016. Okay. Let me look at your chart. You were born August 17th, so we got Leos in here today. Very cool. Well, it looks good, actually. Are you getting out and about? Are you taking trips, being out socially?
I am, actually.
That's going to help your love life. You've got Scorpio at 15 on the cusp of the second house, which is the Venus house. It's the house of love and money. And Venus is in that house right now in Scorpio. So there's a definite desire to have a commitment. When Mars goes into Scorpio, there could be more activity taken in that vein. But next year, it's going to be, I think there's a retrograde in Mars this coming year. It happens every 2 years. So I think this is our year. Yeah, there's a retrograde in April of Mars, and it'll be in Sagittarius. So that's travel, but it's still going to be in your house of love. So I'm thinking that you're going to have either someone come in, it's all Sagittarian energy, that someone's going to come in from the travels and the adventures that you have. What I see is there is a potential quick attraction, but it may go away as quick as it came in. And I do think that probably within the next year and a half, you're going to have something more tangible come in for you, and strong energy around someone of foreign descent, the Sagittarius energy. But what happens is your Neptune will be triggered, and that's at 24 degrees Sagittarius, so we need the planets to get over towards your Neptune, and that's more of an ideal situation. And so I think that's going to be stronger for you. Let me look. I'm just looking to see when we actually have some triggering of that. So we've got the retrograde of Mars, and then he goes direct. So September of next year could be really good for you. And, yeah, definitely the month of September. But like I said, you're probably going to have another flirtation or something that looks really interesting to you, because what happens is Uranus brings it in, and it's a very sexual tension, but Uranus is not consistent. Again, it's kind of all over the place. So you'll have that attraction. It'll feel like, wow, this is a zinger. This is really good. And it may be gone in like 3 weeks or a month or something like that. So I would say if there's anybody who comes into your life, just enjoy it in the moment for what it is and take it as it comes. See how it develops. you do have Mars in Libra, and he's 1 degree off of your Pluto. So there is some life changes coming in around how you look at relationships. And have you recently gotten out of one, or no? Because all that Libra energy is right in your first house, and it's Saturn and Pluto, major life changes going on.
I have, but, I have, but I wasn't really into him, so I came into it.
Okay, well, definitely you're interested in getting out there. Mars in Libra is saying, okay, I need to have a partner, because that's what Libra does. It wants to balance things by having a partner. And it feels more comfortable, and it's in your first house. So there's a strong sense of self around relationships for you. And, I'm definitely aware of like a codependent nature, but, having the Libra energy in the first house, it's part of your life path. And having Saturn at 18 Libra, like really your life path is about helping others and about understanding relationships with people and commitments. Because everything in your chart, like your Saturn is your life purpose. It's in Libra right over the horizon. You came in here to learn about love, to learn about connecting to another person. You have Pluto, which of course rules the Scorpio part, in Libra at the end degrees, and then you have Jupiter-Mars conjunction in Scorpio right after that, all in the first house. You have 4 very strong planets in the first house connected to love and commitment. So definitely Mars, where it's at, is having you stand up and take notice of all that energy. And then he goes into Scorpio here not too long, I think. I want to say January, because I keep looking. Yeah, January 4th. So right around the beginning of January, you're going to get this really strong hit, like, man, I need to express this passionate nature. And if you go that way, you're going to be where you need to be. I think really Mars in the first house, even though it's all about partners and commitment, is more you finding out your drives around that. And then by the time Mars gets into Sagittarius, you're going to have, like I said, that one person come in, and it'll be like, whoa, what's this? Because it also trines your Venus. When Mars goes in to Sagittarius, it's going to trine your Venus. And that's going to be really strong. And your Venus is conjunct Mars, or conjunct the moon. So there's a really strong connection to relationship then. And I'll tell you when that is. That's March. March 6th, Mars goes into Sagittarius, and that's going to be, and this is the thing, you'll go through the energy of the relationship, which is Libra, of the commitment, which is Scorpio, and it's all about changing you to be what you want to bring in. And then when it gets to Sagittarius, you're going to bring somebody in, but it's going to be probably more fleeting, or someone who lives in another place that is hard to have a relationship with. And then later on, he'll retrograde, he'll go back in, I believe, to Scorpio, and then he'll go direct, and then he'll be there in September again. And September looks really promising to me, and I'm getting that there could be a connection to education. So I don't know if you're thinking going back to school at that time, but that to me is probably more where there's going to be some stronger energy to meet someone, or, like taking extra courses in something. You know what I mean?
That makes sense, because I am thinking of going back to school and getting my master's. That makes sense. Okay.
Well, I think that that's going to be, for me, looking at your chart, just that's the energy I'm getting, because your Neptune is in the house of education. And honestly, it came to me without looking at that, but that really would also reinforce there's a connection between either travel, education, or combination, like you're going to go somewhere else, for that educational experience. And then there's going to be somebody you connect to through that venue. Okay? And that's going to be more in alignment with what you want. But I think you're going to meet somebody before then. Just brief, like a flash. Okay?
Wow, that's great.
That's exciting. Yeah, and I definitely see you moving in the coming year as well. Pluto's on the cusp of your home and family, which is major life change around family and the structure of family. So it also relates to your father, or the more authoritarian figure in your family, mother or father. Okay?
All right.
All right, thanks for the call. And Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all the above. Okay. Bye, Evelyn. Take care.
Bye. Thank
you. You're welcome. Bye. All righty then. Let's go on, see how many we can get to before the end of the show. Hi, 815. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Have you called the show before?
No.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Dewana.
Okay. That's a pretty name.
Thank you.
Let me just get some. You're welcome. Get some of your information in here before I put in your birthday. Okay. So, what's your birthday?
February 15th.
Okay.
1967.
Okay. And what time were you born?
11:23 a.m.
Okay. Where were you born?
Rockford, Illinois.
Okay. What can I do for you today?
I'm calling about, I think, Uranus and Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
The Neptune seems to be, it's like I have a stellium in Pisces, and it's going over that, and I'm just wondering how that's going to pan out.
Well, it's like a good decade and a half of time that you're going to be dealing with it. Yeah, you know what? I would say you should either be a photographer, a filmmaker, or a psychic. That's what that means.
Okay.
Really,
well, I've been studying astrology for the past year. Right now, I'm in an apprentice program. So that's
awesome.
I don't feel psychic or anything, but.
Well, you know, see, I do intuitive astrology, and being so much Virgo in my chart, it's really hard on some level. I mean, I try, I meditate, I do all these things. I have friends, and because of my Virgo, that logical side of my brain it never releases fully, but I've learned to use that to still be intuitive, and what that is I use tangibles, which your Pluto-Uranus conjunction can also bring about. Jupiter's on that for you right now. So for me, astrology, and that's why I say Uranus is astrology. So we have a lot of similar energy in our charts in certain ways because you have Neptune in Scorpio and Saturn in Pisces. The astrology side, to be intuitive, would be knowing the essence of the symbology. That's the logical way of doing it. So you go, okay, I know that Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is driven and directed, and it has this and that aspect to it. And, you know, you just know your planets, you know your signs, and then you start looking at how they combine. And I've said this before, like a recipe. You throw in a dash of this and a you know, I could throw in pepper to that cookie mix, but that wouldn't taste good unless I throw in some chocolate. And now the chili and the chocolate, hey, this is a new thing. So you just know through what the combinations are, you start making stories from the combinations, okay?
Okay.
So that's how you get the intuition out.
Okay. I guess I'm looking at intuition in a different way, but the way you said it does sound logical.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, when you start doing it that way, then when you look at a chart, and I have something else that comes in. I mean, I've done so many other things to expand my intuition. I've done angel therapy practitioner workshops. I've done hypnosis. I do meditation. I chant. I do a lot of things. But because I'm so logical as a Virgo, I understand how those things enhance the intuitive side. And I also have Saturn in Pisces like you do. So Saturn is the pragmatic side, the organizational side of something that isn't normally organized, which is Pisces. So because of that, your Saturn's in the house of other people, of groups. Teaching would be fabulous for you. You're very much a humanitarian with this Sun in Uranus, Sun in Aquarius up there at your midheaven. You have an Aquarius midheaven.
Right.
That can be the astrologer right there, Sun in Aquarius. Pisces, you need to bring in the intuition skills, and all the Pisces is in your Aquarius house, which makes you more mental as well. So, you know, you have the Pisces Aquarius connection in your chart, and that is using quantum understanding of things, which segues into Pisces, because as a process, it goes Aquarius, Pisces, and then Aries, Taurus, you know, so you go around the zodiac. You have Aquarius, which is heightening our awareness of electrical energy, which is a stepping stone to intuition, and the Pisces energy, which is the knowingness through the body, through emotions, through immersion. Aquarius doesn't necessarily immerse in the understanding. It gets it claircognizantly, so it just knows things. So that side is the astrology side. So if you bring in that logical, astrological stuff, then you can use that as a springboard to the intuition, because once you start to understand the logic of all the signs and the placements and the houses and the aspects, then you know your language. You start putting it, it's like knowing how to drive. Like, I don't stop and go, now I have to put my foot on the gas. Now I have to put my foot on the brake. You just do it, right?
Okay.
That's what happens when you've done it for so long. You just automatically pull on your information. And for me, when I do it, I start to notice my body. And again, training with mediumistic things or psychics will help. Like, the bottom line is, like, I listened to Hay House a lot back in the day, you know, when they had all the shows and they were out there and, you know, all the different, I mean, they have them now and you can subscribe and get them, but I used to listen back in the day when I first started and it was all free, and I devoured those shows. And psychics were out there teaching you and training you, and you can get that now too on Blog Talk with psychic teachers. They do the same thing very well, and they're always telling you about this. But what happens is you start paying attention to what goes on, because when you start giving a reading, everything matters. If you start smelling, like I had a caller, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and I started smelling wet dog, and I'm like, are you around a wet dog? And because I don't have dogs, you know, I'm allergic to animals, so I don't have a dog. But I'm like, what is that wet dog smell? And she's like, yeah, I just let my dog in because it was raining. So you start to get it, you know, like you start picking up stuff. But in a reading, everything is valid. Everything matters, because that's how spirit starts talking to you. So if you're getting into this and you want to do like intuitive astrology, you want to start paying attention. Like I was talking to you, I was getting chills when I was telling you about taking in the information, and I'm getting them again now that I'm reiterating, taking in the information from the mind and knowing the logical stuff, and then using that as a springboard into the intuition. So spirit says, okay, now you have a language. Now we know how to talk to you. And I've got a lot of chills now. I've got them all over my arms and legs. I'm like shivering. I got so many chills. Now we know how to talk to you. We're going to give you more information, but you have to listen to what we're saying. And we're saying, look at this planet, look at that planet, look at how they interact, look at this pattern you've got, and this matters too. And I'm sorry I'm going on because now I'm channeling. This is channeled information. When I talk really fast, I can't get it.
I love it. Thank you.
I'm starting to get all this to tell you. You look at a planet and you go, okay, look at that. That house is naturally ruled by Aquarius. The 11th house is Aquarius house. You've got Saturn in Pisces, which is intuition, in the house of Aquarius, which is mental understanding. So it very much blends and combines astrology with intuition. So if you're saying you want to do astrology, that's perfectly great, because your chart supports that. Don't be put off by your Chiron right next to your Saturn, because it's something that, like, your whole life you've had this ability, and you may have had your biggest resistance from other people. The biggest wounding is right there in your ability to earn a living doing what it is that's very intuitive, because people who are logical don't understand intuition. Okay? So, I mean, if they're so committed to logic that they won't open up to anything that isn't ABC, then sometimes you just have to walk away from that. But I'm just telling you, because your Chiron is right next to your Saturn in Pisces, which means you had a deep emotional wounding from like a spiritual sense that, you know, maybe it had to do with helping others, or maybe you haven't been able to help others because you weren't really confident, because somewhere along the line, right around 23, and also by the time you had your first Saturn return at 28, between 23 and 28, there was some kind of hurt. And maybe that's when you turned off of that path. But now it's there. So,
okay. I guess
anyway, that's all I can tell you.
I can resonate with what you said, because I
Wonderful.
I feel like I want to do this, but I don't. I keep reading about the intuition. I don't feel like I have that, so I have all this doubt about doing it, because, like you said, I have the logic part, I have all the planets, I know all of that, but it's just, I don't feel intuitive. Like, I can, you know, like, do the cookbook part.
Well,
so
you are intuitive. You're extremely intuitive. No, you're going to. And what you could do is start meditating. And what you do to meditate is a trick I use, and we only have a minute left. That's why I'm talking faster. You relax your body, and I usually lay down, but you can sit up in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes, and first thing you do is start relaxing from your head to your toe, just going, okay, I'm relaxing my head muscles, and my face is relaxing, my neck is relaxing. You go on down through your body, and then somewhere, probably around your stomach, excuse me, you end up getting into your body and feeling your body. When you start feeling your body, it starts to get warm and tingly, and now you don't detach from your body. You actually start to get into your body, and it grounds you. And then now you're feeling warm, and your body it's like it carries you away into an altered state. So that's really, how you can start to connect into your spiritual side. And if you do that regularly, you'll definitely get there. Trust me, your hearing will start getting more sensitive, and your taste, and all sorts of things. I could go into a whole show about that too. Okay?
Okay, I will definitely try that then. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Listen to the show again in archive, and you can pick up some of the things that we're flying past, okay? Thanks for the call.
Will.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
You so much.
And
okay,
we'll talk
holiday.
to you again. You too,
right,
and
bye-bye.
It's my pleasure. Bye. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to the rest of you, but I will be here again next week, so please do listen. We're going to go out with our lovely happy place. In these days of stress, running around, responsibilities, we all need a little place to go to make it all better. Is that place sports, football, or maybe you like to garden, paint, or just listen to music? Wherever your happy place is, you can find a shirt or mug to reflect that happy place. At myhappyplace.rocks, we have a variety of lifestyle products, including iPhone cases, pajamas, and pet items, all with beautiful, colorful designs, which help us go to our happy place. Stop by on the web for great gift ideas for others and yourself. myhappyplace.rocks. Lenny Pickett appears courtesy of Random Act Records. Check him out at randomactrecords.com. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net